Afternoon, all the participants. Proudly we announce the 10th edition and 64th speaker for the webinar series being conducted by Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism, the team AITT, as we proudly call. And the speaker for the day is Mr. Mrityunjay Chandra Mohan. Mr. Mrityunjay Chandra Mohan, he is a global award-winning business travel leader, competent professional with approximately 18 years of experience in travel, a versatile and design thinker with a proven track record of travel business processes management, quality operations, supplier relationship management, research analysis on travel data, team management, and so on. He is an active speaker and moderator in business travel space. His specialties include corporate travel, global procurement, travel dashboard, travel policy compliance, fare rules, revenue, accounting, forex, travel insurance, expense management, hotel RFP, airline RFP, and more so. Currently, he is associated with Adobe as Global Travel Manager, Global Procurement since 2014. On behalf of my team, welcome Mr. Mrityunjay Chandra Mohanji, and without standing between our participants and the speaker, sir, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Professor Sajnani. It's my privilege to be part of this session, engaging session, I would say. I always wanted to participate in this kind of forum because when I go and participate in our own trade forums, the kind of audience we face is a bit different. And coming from a tourism and travel background, and as I told you earlier, I myself have done 3-year degree course in tourism and travel management. So obviously, that point, when we were doing our course, we always wanted to have this kind of session. Unfortunately, the technology was not advanced that point of time that, okay, we could have arranged or we could have afford this kind of sessions. But of course, from my end, I always wanted to be to share whatever knowledge and experience I have gained over the period. And it's my privilege today to take you all through the session, which is known as Decoding Business Travel Management. So let me try and share my screen, and yeah, we'll be going to jointly go through the session. So just a minute. Let me start the slide slow. Okay. So business travel is something which is, I hope you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen perfectly? Thank you. Okay, so the business travel management, what is the business travel management? So business travel management is part of the or larger industry, which is like tourism and travel. It's one of the segment where the businesses, they are manage their travel for their employees. It's a very dynamic world nowadays, and most of the company spend a lot of money in the business travel. If I go by the data, maximum companies second highest expense in the company nowadays is on the of employee salary and benefits.
Sir, you have gone mute. Sir, unmute yourself. Sir, unmute yourself. Parvez, coordinate, please.
Yes.
Yeah, he's unmuted now. So can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely sorry for the technical glitch. So business travel is basically managing the travel expense for the employees of the corporate. Um, Earlier, traditionally, the corporates used to manage this business travel. They never used to have a dedicated travel management team or business travel management team. This part of the job was usually done by either by finance or maybe the HR team or the general administration. But last couple of years, the corporates have realized that this is such a like, since it is the second or third largest expense within the organization, they definitely need some sort of expertise to handle this kind of department or the team. And that is the reason the trend of hiring a travel manager and setting up a business travel management team has been required and noticed by most of the corporates. And today, if you go to any small, medium, or large corporate, you'll definitely find a dedicated team who is managing the business travel. When we say managing the business travel, there is no any set parameters like what all comes under business travel, and it definitely varies from the nature of the company. If it is an FMCG company, or if it is a consulting company, if it is IT company, the travel needs varies actually. For an example, like the consulting company, they usually travel a lot. If you talk about the KPMG, PwC, EY, these folks are most of the time on the road and they travel mostly for the customer. So their travel policy will be definitely different than the travel policy of an FMCG company where only the sales guys are traveling. So business travel in any organization varies from company to company and as per the requirement. Travel manager is a key person here who actually manages the whole responsibility, and the whole business travel management evolves around the travel manager. So the travel manager's role has also evolved over the period when the industry started hiring them. Initially, they were only brought into the picture just to manage the operational part of the business travel, like just to handle the nitty-gritties and just to handle the travel management company. These were the prime job initially when this profile was created. But nowadays, these guys have started doing global RFPs, negotiations, supplier management, escalation management, liaising between the different parties. They are supposed to be the technologically sound. They are supposed to be playing a larger role in the strategic aspect of the company and the bottom line of the company. So these are some new involved or evolved character of a travel manager has been noticed over the last couple of years. Let's go back and see what else the travel manager's role is. So in this case, as I told you, business travel is something which is only to deal within the company. Uh, all the aspect of travel, it includes air, hotel, ground transportation, credit card companies, expense management companies. All these come under business travel expense. Let me move to the next slide. So let's quickly review the travel manager role. What you might be wondering that what travel managers usually do. So they have like a lot of responsibilities and they develop and centralize the travel functions for the organization through implementation of global travel programs. So every company, every corporate has their own travel management program, and it varies, as I told you, from the nature of the company. They manage their travel policy. So like advance purchase policy, like you're supposed to buy your ticket 7 days in advance, 14 days in advance, from the class of the services, who all will fly in which class of service. So these are the things which comes under travel policy. They maintain the systems. So of course, and ensure the compliance, which means like any leakages. If you are a company employee and if you're not traveling, you're not buying your ticket from the authorized travel management company, it's a leakage. And in that case, company has no idea where their employee are. And if in case there is a duty of care requirement, they will not be able to locate their employees. Um, they are supposed to develop the relationship with the suppliers, which is the key, because they are from the trade and they definitely know like all the suppliers in this trade. So of course they have to maintain a healthy and a strategic relationship with all the air, hotel, and ground transportation companies, so that their employees are well taken care of, so that their organization is getting the best services at the best prices. So this relationship, this strategic relationship is very important. And who will do it on behalf of the corporate? It is the travel manager's responsibility to manage that. They are supposed to manage the negotiation of preferred corporate rates for an air. So of course, as a travel manager, since you know the potential of your company, how much expense your company does on an annual basis, as a travel manager, you also know that, okay, what kind of new projects are coming, where your organization is going to open a new offices. So accordingly, you are going to go out in the market and start negotiating with your preferred suppliers. Sometimes you start with a very small number, and later on, basis your requirement, you change your plan. So for an example, for a corporate, if let's say Lufthansa is a preferred supplier, um, there might be a possibility over the period the corporate might shift to some different airlines, because the requirements keep on changing, because the new requirements might come, the new offices might come, new projects might come. So it's a ever evaluation process, continuously goes behind the scene, and that's how you decide your preferred suppliers. Plus, what is the best value you are getting from the suppliers, and it changes, right? If the product is new, if the suppliers are new, your chances of getting a better deal is very high. But if it is an established product, of course you might find it difficult to get the best price out of it. They are also supposed to create, manage, and analyze the spend reports. This is extremely important, because this is a organization's money, and every penny, every single money um, uh, which has been expensed on the travel needs to be analyzed. How the employees' behaviors are. Are they following the policy? Are they following the guidelines? Is there any leakages happening? And what the cost of that leakage? For an example, I can simply tell you, if in case you buy the ticket 14 days in advance, you might get it at a 6,000 rupees. And the same ticket price, if you're not following the policy and if you're buying it just 6 days before the travel, the same airline seat you might have to purchase at 8,000. So which means it is costing some money to the company. And that's how the policy is being created. And who is the custodian of all these policies and the compliance? Of course, it's the responsibility of the travel manager. He, along with his own team, of course, the extended team, which is the travel management company, they are responsible to maintain, educate their travelers, maintain the compliance, and always analyze and create the spend reports for the recommendation for the senior management, for the review of the senior management. There are certain things from the travel manager's perspective, which is very important. Like, the travel manager should understand the industry trend. So let's talk about the new technology which is coming in the travel industry. So you should be always what is the new technology has come in the market, what is the new product which has been launched in the market. Because it's very embarrassing that, okay, some frequent travelers is coming back and telling you that, okay, there is a new hotel which has opened in so and so city where our offices are. Ideally, it's your responsibility, the travel manager's responsibility, to look for the alternate product at the best price. Duty of care is something which is definitely very important, because the prime difference between the leisure travel and the business travel is, in the leisure travel, you are responsible for all your behavior. In this case, since you are working for an organization, it's organization's responsibility for during your business travel. Actually, the organization's responsibility is always there till the time you're working for the organization, but especially during the business travel, it's definitely the responsibility of the organization to ensure that their travelers are safe and healthy. So which means they are supposed to be tracked, they are supposed to be reached whenever there is a crisis. Let's suppose there is a bomb blast in or there is a blast in Beirut. what is going to happen? In a normal scenario, travel managers should be able to pull out a report um, after the blast, maybe within an hour, to check is any of his travelers are right now present in Beirut or not. I'm just quoting an example. So that's the kind of duty of care is required if you are working as a travel manager for a larger corporate. Because, and if in case there is an employee who is stuck in this kind of situation, it's your responsibility to pull him out and bring him back safely to his native place. So definitely, and that is only possible if the transaction is happening from the authorized channel. When I say authorized channel, from where the organization has a partnership to manage the business travel. The travel managers also play a critical role in educating the employees, because of course, if somebody is joining the organization, you cannot expect him to be an expert in the travel policy of XYZ organization. So of course, right from the induction days, throughout his stay in the company, travel managers continue to guide him about the travel policy, travel and expense policy, what is right, what are the best practices, how to save cost without compromising in the quality. So this is an important role, which means that you have to be connected with your customer, your internal customer, periodically. You should have a regular connect with travel admins or your frequent travels. You should definitely gather some feedback. You should develop some mechanism where they should come and share the feedback that how they're liking the services, where the opportunity of improvement. And in a way, you can also educate that what is right, what is wrong, and what is the expectation from them. Um, as a travel manager, you're supposed to be a multitasking, of course, because sometimes you will work as an operation manager, sometimes you will react as a consultant where you are supposed to provide your inputs, your guidance. Sometimes you have to work as a program manager because you want to bring the cost down. You have to work as a travel coordinator because somebody is in a crisis and you are supposed to help him or her to come out from the situation. So all in all, you are supposed to be an expert in all these areas, because most of the time people only approach you when they are in a crisis kind of situation. If somebody has missed the flight, if somebody has a confirmed booking, but when he's reached the hotel says that we don't have any booking in your name. Of course, you can't leave that situation. And that is why this job becomes 24/7 and 365 days of job. If you are managing a much larger geography, of course, you be ready to face the unexpected. And that is very, very common in the service industry. I'm sure a lot of people who are there in the call must be agreeing with me that service industry is highly, highly volatile, unexpected, and emergencies can happen with anybody, any point of time and any part of the world. So that is why this role becomes even more challenging. To manage the business travel to manage the business travel is one of the most challenging job, which we can say that, and the kind of team which they put effort is not huge. Let me share with the example of my own company. So we have around 35,000 employees all across the globe, which is like almost more than 50 plus countries we are present. And the travel team, if we talk about, is prime travel team is consists of only 4 to 6 people, and our extended team is not more than 35 to 40 people. And that's how we manage the whole globe. So of course, this is something which is really important. Business travel is something which is very, very critical for the success of the business. It has gone to the level where the frequent travelers, just imagine you are a sales guy, you are a marketing guy, and most of the time you are on the road, right? So you definitely would like to work for a company where the travel policy is more lenient. They won't have too much too much control in the travel policy. So basically, it's directly related with employee experience. Um, People would like to join the company where they have more liberty to select their own flight, stay in their own preferred hotels, and these are some of the travel team has started impacting in the overall employee experience aspect of the organization also. Nowadays, there is a trend like best places of work. Business travel team plays a larger role in terms of the satisfaction of the employee, how satisfied they are with the organization. And I'm not saying that only business travel, of course, the facility team, the other team definitely play, but business travel is one of the critical area where employee rate the organizations very, very high if they are aligned with the travel policy, if they like the travel policy. So ultimately, it helps the retention of the employee, it helps the employee experience, it helps the branding of the organization, because the best places of work is nothing but the branding. People admire to join those companies who are in top 10, reflect under top 10 in best places of work, because you are getting a decent salary, policies are good, your facilities are good. Of course, anybody would love to work for these kind of companies. So all in all, business travel management is very, very crucial. It impacts almost every aspect of the business. Apart from saving cost, it definitely help organization build their brand, build the culture, bring the confidence, increase the share, increase the employee morale, whatever you say. So that's how we rate the business travel in terms of employee satisfaction. Now let's quickly talk about what are the important stakeholders when you are managing a business travel. So first and foremost, business travel cannot be managed until unless you have a travel management company. So we have some large travel management company like American Express Global Business Travel, Carlson Wagonlit Travel, BCD, FCM, so on and so forth. So depending upon the size of the organization, of course you have to have one a decent travel management company, because without their partnership you cannot succeed. Your business travel program cannot run without their help. So they are the key stakeholders. What they do, they manage the travel program on behalf of you. They work very closely with the travel manager under their guidance, under the guidance of the travel manager for the company which they serve. The second most important stakeholders in the whole business travel management is the strategic suppliers. We always call them strategic suppliers, be it airlines, be it hotel, ground transportation, credit card company, event management company, foreign exchange company, travel insurance company, all are our strategic suppliers. So when we call a business travel, one business travel might involve multiple strategic suppliers. Like if I'm taking a trip from Delhi to San Francisco and back, I need an airline ticket, I need a hotel stay, I need a ground transportation, I definitely need a credit card to pay my bills. If I'm attending some sort of event, of course, we might have to work with the event management company. If I'm going outside India, I need Forex, I need travel insurance. It's a bouquet of services combined together by the travel management company under the influence of the travel policy of that particular company. Then you can say your product is ready as one business travel, one transaction. So, and just imagine the kind of stakeholders involved in one business travel, and getting everything aligned, getting everything right is definitely a tough task. And that is why we always say that getting appreciation in business travel industry is definitely very, very commendable. If you are not getting any response from your internal customers, which means you are doing a wonderful job. If you are getting an appreciation, which means you are definitely doing much better than exceeding expectation. Senior management of the organizations are very, very important, because most of the company work as a business unit concept. They have all their own cost centers, P&L, and every VP or the CFO or the business unit head or the people manager, if the people manager has a larger team, they are responsible to manage their own cost. And of course, they become your important stakeholders, because you have to do the review with them. You are supposed, since you are an expert, you are supposed to provide enough data and enough input so that they can drive the compliance. You cannot go ahead with all the frequent travelers. Like in my case, we have like more than 10,000 frequent travelers or active travelers, I would say. It's really impossible to go ahead and monitor all those 10,000 employees, what they are doing at a transactional level. However, if you are aligned with their people managers, the VPs, the department heads, you can certainly drive compliance. You can certainly improve compliance. You can certainly try and highlight what you want to do and how you are supposed to that particular team perform. For an example, the sales team, most of the time they won't book their ticket 14 days in advance. However, the procurement team, or maybe let's say HR team, they are very particular. They always book their 14 days. Of course, these are the important stakeholders where you can go ahead and highlight all those your concerns and get things done through them. If in case there is any concern, you can mutually discuss and close it. Frequent travelers and team admins. So team admins is a new concept, of course, and most of the team admin are also responsible for to manage the business travel for their respective teams. They are very important stakeholders for you because they provide you the feedback, which is really important. Travel manager or the business travel team cannot use the product themselves. Of course, they rely on frequent travelers and the team admins who are the consumers, or they are basically taking the services. So the kind of feedback you need to improve the services with your strategic suppliers will come from these guys. Procurement and expense management team, when you go ahead and do the negotiations, when you do the supplier management review, and when you are preparing the dashboards, procurement and expense management team are definitely very, very important stakeholders in this. Corporate communication team. There is a change in travel policy or some big change happening in the business travel, which usually happens very frequently. For an example, the pandemic COVID-19 is going on. Most of the business travel is banned right now, and there is a lot of development happening in business travel space. Of course, you want to keep your active travelers updated what is happening there. So you need help. You need to partner with your corporate communication team, and that's how you'll reach the larger audience. Travel technology companies, so like online booking tool, the global distribution systems, the expense management tool like Concur. Like there are a lot of mobile apps are there. There are a lot of other softwares which basically are used by most of the corporates to automate the business travel experience. So they are your stakeholders because they can spoil the experience. If something is not reflecting in the online booking tool, immediately if you're not able to fix it, or if you're not if you don't have simply the downtime, if you don't have the prior information, it can definitely create a big inconvenience to your travelers. So you are supposed to work very closely with these companies and manage the business travel program. The safety and security aspect, I already touched upon the duty of care aspect of the company, and this is your extended arm where you have to rely on them when there is a crisis time. So obviously, you are supposed to work with them hand in hand, just to make sure that all your travelers are safe wherever they are traveling. They are approachable. You can locate them in case of any emergency. So obviously, you cannot do this on your own. Of course, you need a extended help, and that will come from safety and security team. So these are the important stakeholders in the business travel space. And I will quickly like to touch upon the kind of expense which is happening in the business travel space. Right now, we are facing COVID-19, and most of the business travel activity is not happening. However, this is not permanent. We have already seen this kind of like disturbance or maybe inconsistency in past in terms of Ebola, in terms of SARS, in terms of September 11. A lot of things has happened in the past, but business travel has always bounced back. And in our industry, we always say that there is no any substitute of face-to-face meeting. Whatever we say, technology cannot replace 100% the requirement of business travel. It will continue to happen, and the kind of trend we have. So I'm sharing on the screen is 2017 data of the business travel spend. across the globe. And this data has been taken from GBTA. I am a board member of GBTA in India, so I can definitely download this and share it with all of you. Just wanted to highlight the size of this market. This is 13 trillion million US dollar uh, expense worldwide we are talking about. China is of course number one, followed by UK, and you can imagine the kind of expense they do in business travel. India right now is in seventh position, and we are waiting for the final outcome or final figure for 2019. It's slightly delayed, but we are hoping that there was a prediction that okay, we might have crossed France and we might be at number 6 right now. But when this report was published, India's expense was 37 million US dollars. And if you see the growth, annual growth, it's clearly indicating that which countries business travel is growing. The highest growing area is basically Asia Pacific and South America. If you see China, of course, is leading, and their growth is also, but India is one of the fastest growing in terms of business travel. And it's quite evident because you have so many corporates which has come in last couple of years. The business is increasing. India is slowly becoming a manufacturing hub as well, apart from the consulting and FMCG. So this is the kind of expense we are talking about. This is the kind of industry we are talking about when we talk about the business travel. I will stop here, and business travel, I can go on and on and on, and it's such a vast area, but I will stop here. And of course, I would request uh, Professor Sajdani, if in case we have any question coming in, I would love to be
We
asked
have,
a lot of questions.
yeah, we have
And
many questions, sir, which have come in the chat box.
yep, so that's it from my presentation.
Wonderful. I think the chat box also reads the compliments which come for your session, sir. Full of knowledge, full of experience sharing. Probably, believe you me, sir, I am in teaching for last so many years, and the role of business travel manager has undergone such a drastic change. And the note is taken today. I was noting down on the paper, how the role has
Mhm.
changed of business travel manager, and
Yep,
how you have got such support, extended teams available. And probably business travel manager is associated like a board member for
yep,
every strategic decision today.
very
What
true.
role HR used to have in the past, today business travel manager has that role in the boardroom. Wonderful. And even happy to note that the third largest expense for any organization is travel.
Yeah, it
That
is
shows,
business travel, of
I
course.
mean, that shows the promise the travel business has, and the profession has for the young participants that we have today in our audience. And it's a healthy note for us to note, actually. And I think the skills that you have mentioned, the role to understand, duty of care, to educate, multitasking, always ready. Most important is always ready. So this is a kind of preparedness every participant need to have with them when they plan it. When they plan to join business travel. I think wonderful, sir. I have a one small query. Is it? I
Yep.
mean, you mentioned that travel management company is required as a key, pillar, or in the business travel management. So, but then, I mean, what kind of relationship does this travel management company enjoy? I mean, is it hand in hand, or they at times dominate? Because they are the ones who are in direct contact with the suppliers. Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
am I
So,
audible? Yeah.
uh, yes, I can hear you. So, Professor Sajnani, I hope you asked that question. What is the role travel management company play
Yeah.
to manage the business travel management? So, travel manager is more like custodian of the travel policy. Uh, and kind of work in licensing as a licensing officer between the travel policy and the travel management company. Travel management company is required to execute it, right? All your travel policy which you are making, you are passing it to the travel management company, and it's their responsibility to ensure that they are adhering to that travel policy. The second thing which you asked was they have a direct relationship with the suppliers. It's true, but most of the supplier, it's you who negotiate with the supplier and then hand it over to the travel management company to execute. So most of the execution is happening from the travel management company because you don't have the bandwidth to manage that. You negotiate, you sign the deal, you close the contract, you discuss the discount with your supplier, and then you pass it on to the travel management company for
Oh, wonderful.
execution. So that's how, so they are basically a fulfillment agency. Of course, they work with very closely. If you need any kind of data, it will come from them. If you need any kind of support, it will come from them. If you need any kind of audit, if you're doing any kind of audit, it will come from them. For an example, if airline says that I'm agreed to give you 15% discount on a particular route, how you are going to check it? You of course
Yeah.
need travel management company, and they will check it for you. So they work as a more like a fulfillment agency for you. They are mostly do the execution work, and travel manager do the strategic job of managing the travel program.
Wonderful.
So they work in close guidance of a travel manager. Of course, you have a relationship manager from the travel management company who works very closely with you. There are certain travel consultant who directly face our internal customers. So that's how the whole ecosystem works.
Before I hand over to my two colleagues, sir, to read out the questions from chat box, one small query from my end, one more query. Do we have a kind of a ERP which connects the travel manager with the travel management company? Do we have some kind of system where you raise your ticket, or you raise you say 10,000 frequent travelers in your company you have.
Mhm.
So these 10,000 frequent travelers, do they raise their ticket on some system, and from where it is picked up? I mean, how do
Yeah.
you
So
work?
yeah. So interesting one. So yeah, so travel management is like, and it varies. You are right. There are certain company who work with the ERP and they have developed their own software system. We call it mid office. But you're free. So for an example, let me give you an example. In India, we have 7,000 employees placed in 4 different locations, 2 offices in Bangalore, 2 in Noida. And our travel desk is present in both offices. So we call it implant. So now employee are free. So they have an online booking tool. So I'm an employee. I am free to book my ticket through online booking tool. That's one way of interacting with travel desk. And if any booking I will be making will definitely reflect in the travel management company system. The second option is I can walk into the travel desk and tell them that, okay, hey, I want to go to Bangalore. Can you book a ticket for me? What are the options? And that personal interaction can end up by that you can close the transaction. You can drop an email. So there is a various channel, and some company do develop their own the booking tool, booking engine. So you put a request in a kind of ERP tool, and it goes, it directly talks to the travel management company and they generate the booking. So it varies from company to company, but definitely you need some sort of communication, and that happens. Like in our company, we are so somebody can call the travel desk, somebody can drop an email, somebody can walk in. We give all the option to the travelers. Whatever way you are comfortable, you go ahead and book your ticket, and travel desk will definitely help you.
Wonderful. Over
But
to
you are
my
right, there are
colleagues.
a lot of company who have generated ERP.
Good afternoon, sir. There was a query, right? Sir, this is regarding the GBTA website. Sir, is there any way I can find out the data for 2018, 19, and so forth for the global travel spending? The latest data?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. If I have heard your question right, you want to know that how you can get the data for 2018 and 19
Yes, sir.
for
Sir.
the global business travel.
Yes, sir.
You have to be a member of GBTA. There is a fee. There is an annual fee for to become a member, and if you become a member, you will get a lot of privilege. You'll have the access of a lot of data. So you can actually do a lot of research. So they have a lot of data which is not accessible for a normal member. Once you become a GBTA member, you can
Okay.
access all those research papers. You can access all those
Yes.
data, but it's not free of cost. So
But
for
sir,
that, you have to become a member.
do we have institutional membership for GBTA?
No, I can check it for you and come back. But yeah, but if anyone from your organization becomes the member, he or she will have the complete access of the data. But they really have some nice data, all the research. Like they have the RFP document. They are pioneer in the business travel space because they design some of the documents. For an example, the hotel RFP. Most of the larger hotels in the world follow the document developed by GBTA for the hotel RFP. It sounds very interesting, but and
Yes, sir.
that's why a lot of important data is available there. um, I'm not sure about the institutional membership, because primarily this kind of membership is given to the buyers. When I say buyer, is basically the travel manager community, because they need this kind of data. For your I can check and come back to you on the institutional, but if you anyone can become the member, he will have the access of complete
Okay.
information.
Yeah.
Sir, the next question is what kind of requirements, basically the differentiated requirements, may arise because of this COVID-19 in business travel?
Very nice question, I would say, whosoever has asked this question. So yeah, we are having a lot of webinars, a lot of internal discussions among the travel manager community. Our first challenge is to start the business, to come back to our own feet. Right now, most of the large corporate have banned the travel. Of course, employee health and safety is of topmost priority, and no company will take the risk to like expose their employee in this kind of infection. But at the same time, it has started impacting their businesses, their bottom line. So of course, companies are thinking and exploring how they are going to come back. Um, Most of the organizations are working on a reopening plan. So this would be a staged manner, like they will start opening the offices in a like phased manner. And business travel will also start from first domestic, then international. Um, the change which I can foresee post COVID-19 is um, we used to kind of ignore the safety and hygiene aspect when we were selecting our supplier. Now onwards, any RFP, be it a hotel or airline supplier, which we are going to negotiate, we are definitely going to consider what kind of a standard operating procedure they have developed post COVID-19. For an example, if I want my employee to travel on a SpiceJet or on Vistara, I would try to review that what are the measure they have taken to considering COVID-19 in mind. What are are their seating arrangements is like as per COVID-19? Are they giving some kind of sanitization, face mask? It is mandatory, not mandatory? How much flexible their fares are? We will consider everything, and then we will have a tie-up with them. So these things were not earlier. From the corporate end, the business travel was earlier like, okay, if there is a business requirement, most of the corporate used to have like very lenient approach in terms of providing the approvals. Now the business owners or business unit heads will be more like evaluating the requirement of business travel and then approving it. So which means the number of transactions are expected to go down, and whatever transaction we have done in 2019, I don't see any possibility we are going to match that in 2022 also, which means this pandemic has created some sort of dent in terms of volume and the expense, which is going to take at least 24 to 36 months to recover. This is such a larger impact, but we will bounce back. We are confident. This is not going to stay forever. We will definitely bounce back. Some company might impose some strict travel policies. There will be some change which is expected. The volume will go down. The transaction will go down. These are the things which we are expecting. These are the changes which we are expecting.
Sir, again, as you mentioned, like, it will take some time to bounce back. So this is just a question with this statement. So as to how the companies, the travel management companies, are preparing themselves to bounce back after a period of a year or 15 months or 20 months. Till then, what kind of strategies they are adopting?
Right now, I would say a lot of travel management company have started utilizing this kind of time in the development of their employee, in their sharing and increasing their knowledge. They're training them, soft skill trainings, some sort of trainings. Most of the organization have introduced online classes for their employees, because this is the time when your sales guys are not traveling, but still they are doing the business. Sitting at home. So to engage them, the online platform, there are a lot of learning uh, uh, technologies has come in place. For an example, Adobe is one of the company who is very strong in digital media and digital marketing. I can vouch for it that our sales guys are not on the road, but our business share has gone up. Why? Because most of the company who used to ignore the digital platform earlier had moved to the digital platform. So the digital content so most of the company have adopted this new technology to engage their employees. Of course, there are companies who have laid off or furloughed the employed, which might continue for some more time. But again, um, when it will bounce back, it will bounce back with full force. Why I'm saying it will take time? Because it's a human psychology, right? Until unless you feel safe to travel, you will not travel, right? And same is the case with the companies also. Until unless we feel that our employees are safe when they are traveling, we won't allow them to travel. So it's a reciprocal. And the moment we have vaccines in place, and that is why I'm saying 24 to 36 months, because there is a break in between. It won't happen that once vaccine will come, then it will be distributed, the results will be awaited, uh, even the infrastructure will be ready. I was very happy I actually took a flight from Delhi to Patna on my personal trip. And of course, the infrastructure is now ready to handle this kind of crisis. If you go to the airport, you'll find most of the middle seats empty when you are sitting or waiting for the check-in. Airports, I was talking to my friend in airline industry. They have confirmed me that the SOP has changed from the airline. Every flight, the moment you change the flight, airline used to take roughly around 18 to 20 minutes to clean the aircraft. Now that cleaning time has gone from 18 to 20 minutes to 40 minutes, double the time, because now every time they have to do some kind of sanitization after every flight. So you need that time to, and even if all these things are in place, how you'll bring that confidence back? So the bringing back the confidence is not an easy task. I am a traveler. If I'm not confident, I'm not confident, right? If I don't want to travel, I don't want to travel. So gradually it will happen. And that's why I'm saying 2019, there was nothing. And we were at the peak. To go back to the peak, we definitely take some time to go there. Of course, a lot of companies' financial condition is not as such that they will allow the same amount of travel in future. So I'm considering everything when I'm saying 24 to 36 months.
So
There is
there
another
is
question.
another question, sir. Yes, sir, Tata, sir, please.
Vivek,
Okay.
carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. So there's a question in the chat box. Which are those countries which have the capability to bounce back from this pandemic as far as business travel is concerned?
Yeah, so it's very difficult to guess, but I believe a lot of countries have already done some wonderful jobs. I would like to quote UAE. Um, it's a Middle East country. They have done some rigorous training. Singapore is supposed to be one of the safest country. Hong Kong, Singapore. So it largely depends upon the local government's policy, how they are basically implementing the compliance, how serious they are in terms of testing. Every country will more or less get the vaccines around the same time, but during that time, how they are managing the COVID-19 situation is most important. Within India, you can see like there are certain states who have done wonderful job, and there are certain states who are lacking behind. So it varies from state to state, country to country. But of course, the travelers will be more confident to fly via the country or with the airlines where the COVID-19 cases are minimum. So for an example, if I'm a traveler, I would there are a lot of other changes is going to also happen. So like earlier, people used to complain that, okay, there was direct flight from Air India and United from Delhi to San Francisco, 18 hours. And a lot of our travelers used to complain that, oh, it's like 16-hour flight. I get very tired and all. Now the trend has changed. The behavior will change. People will not like, if they have option of direct flight, they will prefer more direct flight because they are not exposing in between to any third party countries, any third country. They are not standard in 6 to 8 hours waiting for the next flight. They would prefer. So some behavioral change is also expected, but it's really difficult to guess which all country, but the trend will continue. That much I can say. China will continue to grow. India will continue to grow. Brazil will continue to grow. Russia will continue to grow. So business travel, the way it was growing, of course, there is a saturation in US. There is a saturation in EMEA or European countries. These are the third world countries, which we call. There is the scope of expanding the business travel expense. Most of the development is happening in India, China, Brazil, Russia. These are the developing countries, and these are the countries which will bounce back much earlier than compared to other countries. I'm talking in context of business travel only.
Absolutely. Parvendra?
Yes,
We have
sir.
some more questions.
Sir, there was one question in the chat box as to how the organizations select their business travel management companies. So, is there any credential they look for, or they just bid for the they open the bid for the companies?
Of course. For every transaction, travel management company gets a fee. So for an example, I can give you any domestic ticket. Our travel management company books for us. They might charge, I'm just quoting some rough example, 300 rupees per transaction. And for international transaction, they might charge, let's say 1200 rupees. So this is the earning for the travel management company. Now your question is, how we select and why we select XYG travel management company.
Yes.
So as I told you earlier, these companies are basically your extended arm. These companies are your enable execution agencies. So you want to work with the best. Of course, pricing will play a role here. Like, okay, if somebody is charging 300 for domestic ticket and somebody is charging 100, it's more lucrative. But at the same time, business travel requirement is slightly different. You need to have a nice MIS data. So you have to evaluate the travel management company in terms of various factors, and I can name some of them. Of course, we can go in detail each one of them, but just considering the time. So how advanced the travel management company in terms of travel technology, how their BCP plans are, which means like in how many countries in the world they are present, which means their scalability. Because today, if they are present in 6 countries and we are present in 50 countries, we certainly don't want to work with that company. So third thing is how transparent in them they are in terms of financials. Is there any financial ambiguities? Fourth is how their reputation in the market, how there is business continuity plan, how they are handling this kind of emergency situations. Because these travel management company will have the access of a lot of your internal information in terms of your credit card details, in terms of your employee details, more or less every aspect of your company is known to them where their new company is coming. So these companies should be reliable enough to handle those kind of confidential information, right? So you cannot work with any XYZ company. It's not a leisure traveler that you go to any website and you book your ticket where the cost is less. You actually work with the best of the travel management company. The prime importance here is the data quality, because this data is really important, because basis which you do all the negotiation. So are these companies are able to provide you the data the way you want? So most of the larger organizations usually don't go by the price. Most of the procurement or the tie-up happens on the basis of price. When you go to the market, you mostly the price will decide that, okay, what product you are going to buy. But in our case, it's slightly different. We see the scalability, the backup planning, the technology used by the travel management company, and the reputation, along with the price. And all these factors actually force us to select the right travel management company.
There is another question. So is there any mechanism through which we can know how much money and duration averagely is spent on one domestic tour and one international business tour? So is there a website or any, anywhere we can find out such information from?
Certainly not, because it varies from the behavior. So as I told you earlier, if my advanced travel management, of course, we can find that. So as a travel manager, I know that what should be the average ticket price for Delhi, Bangalore. What should be the average ticket price for Delhi SFO? We call it segment. So every corporate has their top segments, and the travel manager basically should know all their top segments and what is their average ticket price. So for an example, Delhi, Bangalore is my top segment in India, which means we have 7,000 employees, and maximum travel of Adobe happens between these two sectors. And my average ticket price should be in and around 7,000 for return trip. Or if I consider the whole trip, it should not increase more than 35,000, because I'm considering the ground transportation, the hotel cost, airline ticket cost, and everything. But you cannot find it on the website, because it depends like how many days somebody is staying in that city, where the city is located. Fares are different for different cities, different geography, so you cannot find it on the website. But yes, any good corporate travel manager can certainly tell you what is their top sectors, what is their average booked rate, and basis that they can also go back to the respective business units. So for example, I'm a travel manager and my average ticket cost is, let's say, 6,000 for Bangalore. All of a sudden, if I'm pulling out a data and I realize that HR team's average booked cost is 7,500, which means there is something which is wrong. If I go and find in more detail, I will realize that, okay, there is a group of 50 people who were traveling and they booked the ticket at the last moment, which means they bought the ticket at a much larger price than they are supposed to, which means there was a gap in the planning, which means whenever I'm meeting my, I'm having my next one-on-one with HR director or HR VP, I'm certainly going to highlight him that, look, because you planned a bit late, you had the opportunity to save this much money, which you lost. So there is an opportunity lost, which we as a travel manager are supposed to highlight to the businesses so that next time they can utilize those opportunities. So yeah, to answer your question, of course, we will not find it any website, but yeah, in the corporate travel
Vivek,
management, it's very common.
this is the experience of the travel manager.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if I understand correctly, so we can say that it is your experience that you negotiate with the service providers the
Yes.
best rates on
Yep.
the basis of MIS generated through the travel management company.
No, so MIS has a different source. One of the source I talked about is the travel management company. In an organization, like in your organization also, whenever you travel anybody, whenever you incur any expense, you file the expense, right? Through various channels. Let's not talk about what channel you use. But whenever you file a official expense, so travel manager has the access of all the data.
Wonderful.
Any expense you are filing, I can pull out the data. Travel management company will give me their own set of data. Strategic suppliers like airlines, I can request that how many trips I have taken in, they will provide me. So I will have enough data on my plate to do the analysis, right? I can cross check as well. If travel management company is saying that, okay, we have booked 500 tickets on a SpiceJet, and there was a 12% discount applicable, and SpiceJet says that, no, you have booked only 450. So I should challenge those suppliers that, no, we have booked 500 tickets. Same way, like vice versa. So you cannot rely on only one data. You need to have various source of data, and data, I would say, of course, we can discuss one more session on the data, but data is most
it has
crucial thing
created a lot
in
of
managing
interest.
business travel.
So it has created a lot of interest in us, because that means our curriculum should have a component of data analytics also.
Of
Because
course.
when you have got such great data, so your team must be having some specialist on data analysis also.
Tanya from my team, she is business travel analyst. So the whole day she works on the data only. She interact with the supplier, pull out the data, we only play with the data. If you don't have the right data, and of course, if you go to the supplier, like you are a supplier, and if I ask for a discount, why you'll give me the discount? You would ask me that, okay, what kind of volume you have, and everything is give and take, right? If I commit you the volume, you will be more eager to give me more discount. If I won't commit you the volume, why you will give me the discount? And to have that kind of volume, where you find the source, you will find the source is your data. You know that your business travel is growing at a speed of like 10% or 15% annual. Last year, your expense was like, let's say, $20 million US. What will happen next year? It will certainly like 3 million US dollar expense will increase. Same is with transaction. So you can anticipate the volume, and basis which you can negotiate with your suppliers.
Sir, one very simple observation. When you go to negotiate with the suppliers, normally suppliers ask, I also deal on behalf of my organization. So they ask for a commitment. Other than the data available of my previous year, they also want a commitment for this year. So when you negotiate, when you sign a contract with the provider, so you are also asked the commitment on behalf of your organization.
Of course, and that's the key. But we never say that, okay, we are going to be 100%. Even if we are achieving 90%, that's how we look into it. 90% is considered to be 100%. And since you initiated this question, again, it's travel manager's responsibility to monitor how the trend is going. So suppose I have committed certain volume to Vistara, let's say 1 crore rupees in terms of volume, and 3 months has gone and my productivity is only 10 lakh rupees, which means I'm lacking behind. Then what I will do? I will create some buzz among our internal travelers. I will do some education session. We call road shows. We will do some internal road shows. We will call Vistara to our offices. We'll try and motivate people to fly more Vistara. We will encourage Vistara to make some specific program for Adobe employee. Convert them to convert their loyalty program from other Reliance to them, so that I can achieve my larger goal. They can get more business, I can achieve my larger goal. So this is again travel manager's responsibility. Same goes with hotel. If I have committed, let's say Crown Plaza, that I will give you 1,000 room nights, basis which they have given a wonderful rate. And in 6 months, I have done only 300 room nights, which means I'm not going to achieve 700 room nights. What I will do? I will keep that in mind. My team will alert me that these are the hotels which we should focus in next 6 months. Any big group will come, I will give it to them. So we always are on a pressure to meet that commitment. And that's how our lives are, because and for that we need we are very open. We go back to the supplier and tell them that, look, it doesn't look like we are going to meet our target, but I need this support. If you can support us, we will definitely meet our target. And that's why I always say, we won't call them supplier. We always call them a strategic supplier. We plan our strategy. We jointly succeed. We take them along, and that's how we work.
Good, sir. The key word which I picked from your statement is that we have to be transparent. We have to be very straightforward, honest in our statement, telling them this year probably we are not able to hit the target, but let's look forward to next year. But let's have
That's
you know, a healthy relationship. Wonderful. I think all the participants must have enjoyed the session. And sir, we would like to thank you on behalf of all the participants and look forward to another session with Tanya, a business travel analyst. This is an interesting area. We are talking about big data, but
Yeah,
how this big data is,
of course.
actually analyzed under your guidance only. That we look forward to one more session on this, and we'll understand how this
I
data
will
is
love to.
used. Oh, wonderful, great. I think without taking much time now, I would have to thank my team members for coordinating this session so well. Dr. Pramendra, Dr. Vivek, Dr. Pankaj, Dr. Sumalata, and sir, I have no words to acknowledge your, the gratitude to you for sparing your time and giving us so much of time and knowledge, particularly. The insight which you have given to us on business travel is great. I think eye-opening for all of us. With these words, sir,
I,
thank you